I am a little bit nervous because at the time of this video, at the time of this recording, it's been a minute since I've made one of these videos. Not a minute since I've been active. I've been active all throughout, but it's been about a month and a half, like something ridiculous. It's not the way I roll, but I just haven't been able to make anything public for a minute. Let's just talk about what I'm making right now. Okay. See, every time, like, I'm worried now because every time I have to restart, probably about now, I say something and I go, fuck this. But I do actually want to talk about this. Usually I just shoot the shit and say stupid things. This I want to actually talk about. What you're seeing right now is I'm sketching out an arcade machine. That blue outline is what I wanted to, the actual dimensions of the picture. But I knew that in order to make the proportions right and everything, I had to expand the virtual canvas to be able to incorporate everything so that, relatively speaking, I was able to make the proportions right and shit like that. So what this picture is I had this idea. I was kind of stuck with the last one. I didn't know what to make next. I don't really want to talk about what I was going to make or what I plan on making because I don't like talking about woulda, coulda, shouldas and, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. This one I actually did. So the one that I started doing, I had this idea of I wanted to do Brandon DiCamillo. I'm a mushmouth, I'm sorry. Brandon DiCamillo of CKY, Viva La Bam. I wanted to make a picture of him. But he is a Mortal Kombat world champion. I think he's like number 3 for, I don't know. You can look it up. It's at, Twin Galaxies, the official refereed ranking, site. So I had this idea. I want to make Brandon DiCamillo playing Mortal Kombat. And I wanted to, I made him in the style of Falcone, the character Falcone from the I don't know if it's 2003 or 2002 movie Haggard. And so I wanted to make it in style of that character. And throughout my research, I found out that throughout my stalking, I found out that he's a huge fan of the Calgary Flames. So I said, okay, well, how about making a picture, Brandon DiCamillo playing the Mortal Kombat arcade cabinet as the character Falcone, who I like, like the most, want to pay homage to. And I said, why not also make him wear a Calgary Flames shirt? And so what I found out in the process is that, no offense, but the real star of this picture ended up being the fucking arcade cabinet, because this picture took 24 hours of work, and which is a lot for me. I usually go between 15 and 20. This was 24 hours of work, and I think a lot of it was the beginning. I didn't know what I was trying to fucking compose it. The composition of the picture wasn't right because at the beginning, which is way long gone, is the first sketches that I was making wasn't working because I wanted to be nice and close up, but I couldn't see the side of the arcade cabinet. Like, it wasn't possible. So I had to pull back. And one of the results was that I don't remember why or how, but his head turned out a little bit bigger than the sketch. But that was kind of intentional because based on how much I wanted of the arcade machine to be in the picture, proportionate-wise, his head would have been really small. And so I just made it a little bit bigger. And I just figured, it's fucking art. It's imperfect. So I just figured maybe it was a little bit of old school arcade, like, NBA Jam big head mode. Just a little bit. Maybe not. I mean, if it was big head mode, it'd be like caricature style big and it would be blatantly obvious. But now I guess it kind of looks like, I like to make people with little tiny bodies. So that's... Now where do I go? I was like, you got to talk about the picture. Don't start talking about, all kinds of irrelevant bullshit. And so I pushed all that, and now I can't know. Like, I'm at a loss of where to go now. But I'm already almost halfway through this, so there's no fucking turning back now. If you think I'm a fucking moron by the way I talk, there's no... What am I going to do? His hair is different than the picture that I had because I wanted it to be more of like the other scenes, the majority of scenes with Falcone from the movie. The picture, actually, that you're seeing, the reference photo, a lot of the shit that they shot was with a sidebar. See this right here, this Johnny Cage that actually looks more like Nicolas Cage. That was all just like winging it. I was just going by the like I wasn't taking out my little fucking caliper separation tools. I wasn't going into the, you know, the full portrait drawing mode with the fine actor who played Johnny Cage on the side of the arcade machine from like 93 or whatever. But it turned out close enough that I was just like, all right, cool. But I do think it kind of looks like a little bit of a pissed off Nicolas Cage in spandex. What was I talking about before? Oh, that reference picture. Oh god, that reference picture. What was I talking about? Yeah, a lot of the shit that they shot was with a wide angle lens, so it was kind of skewed. And what my concern was that I was going to have to draw it as is and make the photo a what do you call it? Like a 5-point wide angle perspective, like that fisheye lens thing, and that would have been a nightmare in retrospect, because the amount of, you know, I wouldn't call it like the equivalent of writer's block, but like it took a fucking minute to get this one off the ground. But anyway, yeah, it would have been a nightmare and a half to try to do a 5-point perspective if it's not like a big, like a cityscape or something. You know what I mean? Like something truly wide angle. I would have had to make the canvas like fucking 15,000 by 20,000 pixels, and, you know, just to make sure that it looked right. But yeah, everything that you see, I mean, I know this is a quick time lapse. It's like going fast, but everything was just, you know, freehand. All the logos, all the Mortal Kombat logos and shit. There was no copy paste and all that shit. You can see. There's a lot of time that you just see like the spinning chair, because I was distracted many a time. This is probably my favorite part for some reason. No, not for some reason. I know exactly what reason. The coin slot, because I really like that glow that comes from it, and I do like the way that turned out in the end. But obviously, I haven't got there yet. This was the perspective angle of the you know, the fucking, what is that thing called? The joystick buttons area, that what we're looking at. That was a pain in the ass, and there was a lot of sloppiness to it, but it was that sort of like forgivable sloppiness, where it's like, you know, a lot of it's just like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just like implied. That's why it's very sketchy and shit. But I really like the way it turned out, so it's all good. I could have spent, you know, forever trying to make sure that everything was proportionally correct, but, you know, fuck that. There's enough going on that you go, oh yeah, it's, you know, undeniable. I guess I use that word a lot, undeniable, to describe the shit that I draw, because, you know, fucking shit's flawed. You know who I ate? You know what I hate is Imgur. When I post there, like, I just do it because I notice that, like, within fucking 10 minutes, you got 2,000 views. They're very hateful there. They're very judgmental. I remember there was this one guy in my last one who's like, there's the outline for everything else is black. It's cell shaded, and the picture, his face is shaded in dark gray. It throws the balance off. And I'm like, motherfucker, it's a pencil portrait. All the other shit is like, you know, expansive. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what do you want? Just a black and white fucking pencil portrait of somebody's head? How much? Like, how fun is that? I'm past that. But anyway, yeah, I kind of let that get to me a little bit. But but because also I said, all right, well, what's your fucking genius shit? And then I clicked on his profile, because, you know, I mean, that always sounds like it's going over the bound. Whoa, you clicked on his you fucking looked at his pictures and shit? Yeah, it takes 2 seconds. I clicked on the picture, and it was a bunch of weird, like, no, not a bunch. It was like 3 pictures of like 3D things of like fucking hero clicks looking characters. I was like, fuck you. Anyway, back to this. By this point, I was like so fucking over this shit. When I was making the little mock play screen and shit like that. That's why, again, it was like an implied play screen. And And then the background, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I wanted to make it look like arcadey and shit. But I didn't want to spend too much time on it. And make sure that, again, like it was almost like a, what's that? Bouquet? Bouquet, it's like a photography term. I did it in the Doug and Steve Butabi thing where it's like you have the lights in the background sort of like glow into these halos and shit because they're blurred and stuff. That's what I wanted to do with the background, which I usually do with the backgrounds is sort of just make like an implied background, kind of blurry and shit, just to make sure that it doesn't take too much from the subject and shit like that. Is that about it, man? Shit. That's how I'm gonna end it? Shit. That's about it. But it really is. We got like 30 seconds before the credit things or whatever. Anyway, don't judge me on my ability to speak because I don't have it. But if you think I have the ability to draw, then fucking right on. Hit that subscribe button and shit. You know what I mean? Follow it. Follow it on all the things that are going to be coming up in a minute. And I will, you'll make a buddy for life. Yeah, I tinkered around with the background for a while. Just little tiny things. And I went back to this and I started kind of tinkering with the face. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, it'll never be done. So anyway, if you like what you just saw and shit, if you want to fucking, that's not very professional. If you want to hit me up for a commission or something, you can hit me up at bonobojuice.com, bonobo juice.com. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Scott at bonobojuice.com. You can email me. Do that if you want, or subscribe, or follow me. Or just, I was going to say piss off, but how fucking passive-aggressive is that and defensive? You don't like me? Well, don't watch it. Go somewhere else. Why even watch it? Well, because you hate me, and that's entertainment in and of itself. Okay, this is the One Take Johnny episode. Goodbye.